fatal mistake that got Ted Bundy caught. Imagine a man who had terrorized multiple states, leaving a trail of death and destruction, yet somehow always managing to escape justice. Ted Bundy was cunning, manipulative, and dangerously intelligent. For years, he evaded law enforcement, even escaping custody twice. But in the end, it wasn't a brilliant detective or an FBI sting operation that brought him down. No, Ted Bundy was caught because of one simple mistake: a routine traffic stop. How did a minor violation unravel the crimes of one of America's most notorious serial killers? Stay with us as we break down the fatal error that finally ended Ted Bundy's reign of terror. Ted Bundy was no ordinary killer. Born in 1946 in Burlington, Vermont, he was raised by his grandparents under the belief that they were his biological parents. His mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, was introduced to him as his sister. This distorted family dynamic may have contributed to his deep-seated psychological issues. Despite these early challenges, Bundy appeared outwardly normal. He was charismatic, well-spoken, and highly intelligent. He studied psychology at the University of Washington and later attended law school. He even worked on a political campaign for the Republican Party, further cementing his image as a respectable young man. However, beneath this polished exterior lurked a sadistic predator with an uncontrollable urge to kill. His crimes began in the early 1970s, targeting young women across Washington, Oregon, Utah, Idaho, and Colorado. Bundy had a signature method. He often pretended to be injured, using a fake cast or crutches to gain the sympathy of unsuspecting victims. Once they let their guard down, he would knock them unconscious, abduct them, and carry out his horrific acts. Many of his victims were college students, lured into his Volkswagen Beetle, where he overpowered them and took them to remote locations to kill them. Bundy's intelligence allowed him to stay ahead of law enforcement for years. He was meticulous, often changing his appearance and moving from state to state to avoid detection. But his downfall began in 1975 when police in Utah arrested him for possessing burglary tools in his car. When investigators dug deeper, they discovered that he matched the description of a man seen with missing women. Soon, more evidence connected him to a string of unsolved murders. While awaiting trial, Bundy made his first daring escape in 1977 by jumping out of a second-story courthouse window in Aspen, Colorado. He was recaptured after 6 days. But later that year, he made an even bolder escape from jail by crawling through a ceiling vent. This time, he successfully fled to Florida, where he would commit some of his most violent and reckless murders. Bundy's Florida killing spree was marked by unrestrained brutality. Unlike his earlier, carefully orchestrated abductions, these attacks were impulsive and frenzied, showing that Bundy was growing more desperate and reckless. On January 15, 1978, Bundy broke into the Chi Omega sorority house at Florida State University in Tallahassee. In just 15 minutes, he brutally attacked 4 women, bludgeoning them with a wooden club and strangling them. 2 of the victims, Margaret Bowman and Lisa Levy, were killed instantly, while Kathy Kleiner and Karen Chandler survived with severe injuries. The sheer violence of the attack was staggering. Levy had bite marks on her body, which later became crucial forensic evidence linking Bundy to the crime. But Bundy didn't stop there. Just an hour later, he attacked Cheryl Thomas, a student living nearby, beating her so badly that she suffered permanent injuries, including a broken jaw and loss of hearing. Unlike his earlier methods, these assaults showed a lack of careful planning. He wasn't luring victims anymore. He was breaking into homes and attacking at random. Despite the growing police presence, Bundy managed to evade capture yet again. He stole a car and fled Tallahassee, heading west toward Lake City, Florida. On February 9, 1978, he abducted 12-year-old Kimberly Leach from her school. Her disappearance sparked a massive search effort, but by then, Bundy was already on the move. Kimberly's murder was particularly heinous, and her body was later discovered in a wooded area, further confirming the sheer depravity of Bundy's crimes. Authorities were closing in, but Bundy had one last chance to escape. He continued his pattern of stealing cars and driving aimlessly, but his arrogance and carelessness would soon be his undoing. On February 15, 1978, Bundy was driving a stolen orange Volkswagen Beetle in Pensacola, Florida. At around 1:30 a.m., Officer David Lee noticed something odd. The car's license plates were stolen. He decided to pull the vehicle over for a routine traffic stop. When Lee approached, Bundy panicked. He had no valid driver's license, no ID, and a stolen car. Instead of cooperating, he tried to flee on foot. Officer Lee tackled Bundy after a brief struggle, and during the arrest, Bundy fought back so violently that he nearly took the officer's gun. But this time, he wasn't getting away. Once Bundy was subdued and taken into custody, the authorities began the process of identifying him. At first, he refused to reveal his name, giving officers a string of fake identities, but his fingerprints were quickly sent to the FBI's database, confirming that they had finally captured the elusive serial killer. Investigators soon connected Bundy to the murders in Florida, and forensic evidence, particularly the bite mark impressions found on Lisa Levy's body, became the crucial piece of evidence in his trial. The bite mark was a direct match to Bundy's teeth, proving his involvement in the Chi Omega murders beyond a shadow of a doubt. As the investigation continued, more evidence piled up against Bundy. Witnesses placed him at the scene of Kimberly Leach's abduction, and fibers from her clothing were found in the stolen car he was driving. His sloppy and reckless behavior in Florida left behind a trail of forensic evidence that sealed his fate. Ted Bundy's fatal mistake wasn't a slip-up in one of his killings or a clever police sting. It was a routine traffic stop and a stolen car that finally ended his reign of terror. He had spent years outsmarting law enforcement, but in the end, his own recklessness brought him down. Bundy was convicted of multiple murders in Florida, including the Chi Omega sorority house killings, and was sentenced to death. He spent nearly a decade on death row before being executed in 1989. So what does Bundy's downfall teach us? Even the most manipulative and cunning criminals make mistakes, and sometimes it's the smallest misstep that finally brings them to justice. If you found this video intriguing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into true crime mysteries. Let us know in the comments, what other cases should we cover next?